Jumpin In on Manx Radio.
With Howard and Chris Kane.
Hello.
Good evening.
And welcome. And here we are once again as we head into spring. It is 9 o'clock on a Saturday night. Yes, everyone's favourite, ours certainly, because it means it's Jumpin' In, the best in modern and contemporary jazz with myself, H.
And me, Chris. Yes, welcome along to this week's show. And can it possibly be? Yes, the school holidays are here again. I swear they weren't this frequent when I was a lad. Yes, only a week to go before Lent is no longer a fast that went slow. But is it just what happened to your lone CDs that were never returned? Or you can have wine, chocolate, crisps again? Delete as applicable. So what's been putting you in the holiday mood, H? Is it the swinging daffodils on the hedgerows? Or the swinging sounds from your CD players? Or has the whole thing just left you hot and cross like your buns?
Oh, both. All. Everything. All the above, I would say. I'm bringing back an old feature we haven't done for quite some time. Same tune, different artist. Cracking tune. And two very different bands. And another old favourite, and old favourite of yours as well, a.k.a. Moon. Haven't heard from them for a while.
Yes. And for me, well, we conjugate existence, nip into the attic, debate dirigibles, and expect, well, expectativas from Manuel Valera and his new Cuban Express Big Band. Well, if that doesn't put you in the mind of sunnier climes, nothing will. Manuel Valera and his new Cuban Express big band with Expectativas from their recently released Distancia on Dave Douglas's Greenleaf music label, fusing the music of Cuba, Puerto Rico and Brazil and the journey his life has taken him on, with some of the top players on the New York scene, including standout soloists Charles Pillow and Remy Leboeuf and Mike Fail, and of course the leader's lively compositions and fantastic piano work. Fresh out of the box last month, Distancia is an engaging next chapter in the musical journey of the Grammy-nominated pianist and composer Manuel Valera, and for me, well worth a listen.
Very good indeed, and got that nice Cuban feel about it without a doubt, or that Latin-y feel in any case, given a good modern twist. Great stuff. It is Jumping In with Chris and myself. H, you're saying, thinking of sunnier climes, which makes me think of jazz festivals, which makes me think of the rapidly coming up on the rails Brew Jazz Wee, as it's now been rebranded. Hopefully we will get there this year. We have to start thinking about ordering tickets, to be honest with you. You never know quite what you're going to get, other than a celebration of Belgian jazz. And that might sound odd until you go there and you realise it's a very vibrant scene. And there's some terrific stuff going on. We've gone for many, many a year, and never a happy hour spent than in the Grand Place with a cold beer, a hot sun, and some Belgian jazz playing on the main stage there. Terrific. And lots of music going on in smaller venues all around the city, including one year, this band, one of your old favourites. We didn't actually get to see them, I don't think, and certainly I haven't seen them in the flesh, but would very much like to if they were playing this year, a.k.a. Moon, as they are known. I'll give you the lineup in a minute, but here's one from a couple of years back, Amazir, and the track is called Lila. Good stuff. Their own brand of infectious, slightly Latin-y swing to a degree, with a very much a modern twist, a.k.a. Moon. Or, in other words, that is Fabrizio Casal on alto, Michael Hatzigeorgiou on tenor, and Stéphane Guélan on drums, hailing out of Belgium. As I say, they have, or at least they have been playing during the Belgian Jazz Weekend we've been at. We didn't get to see them, unfortunately, just the way it went. On this particular album, they've got some guests as well. So they've got Fabian Fiore on piano, Magic Malik on flute and some vocals on some tracks, Nelson Veras on guitar, and also there were Robin Eubanks, Kevin Eubanks' brother, featuring on trombone there. Good stuff, like I said, and it's coming up on the rails, the old Belgian Jazz Festival.
Yes, we have to watch out. We did try to go last time, but I think we got the previous concert was running over or something.
It just didn't happen.
Or we ran into a pile of beer or something. Yeah. Next for me, a pianist, producer, composer, more than 25 years since starting his own record label Jazzland, has dipped in and out of various collaborations, allowing him to flex his musical vocabulary, not least the recent trio Rimden, who we did interview at the London Jazz Festival a couple of years ago, where his forceful Fender Rhodes playing and use of electronics is full-on driving music for the car, unlike his latest solo release. Well, mainly solo, except for the guest appearance of saxophonist Hakon Kornstad on a couple of pieces, and it finds him in a reflective mood on piano and Rhodes through a series of introspective vignettes. He is, of course, Bugge Westhoft, and here's the title track, Be Am. Thoughtful, thought-provoking and solitary music in miniature from Bugge Westhoft. Really nice album, but as I say, lots of little vignettes, totally different from the mood of Rimden, who we'll be looking out for on the touring scene again.
Most certainly will do. It was a good band, and I enjoyed that last album. I listened to it again quite recently and enjoyed it more than I remembered, which is quite often the way when you go back to an album, or the other way maybe. But it's amazing how your tastes change without you realising it sometimes. You're listening to Jumpin In, the best in modern and contemporary jazz here on Manx Radio with Chris and myself, H. And a feature we do from time to time. We hadn't done one for a long time, and as I was riffling through the shelves last night, I thought, one of these wouldn't go amiss, would it? Same tune, different artist. So, tune, it's a classic, Little Niles by Randy Weston, and the artists, well, we'll have Bill Stewart, the drummer, and first off, he can introduce himself and the tune, George Shearing.
Next, we'd like to play a waltz, but don't be too scared because we hope that this waltz is going to swing. It's a composition written by very talented pianist and composer Randy Weston, who might be considered as a sort of civilized Thelonious Monk. Randy calls this thing Little Niles.
Hello, this is Bugge Wesseltoft, and you're listening to Jumpin In at manxradio.com.
Great tune, great bands. Really enjoy that. Little Niles by Randy Weston, and we've got. I think you've got Randy himself playing it on
I do.
another
Big
album.
favourite. Great tune.
Wonderful, yeah, great play. Another one of those undersung heroes in many ways. Never seemed to get the fame that perhaps his talent deserved.
We did work through that. We never went out and played it, did we, in the end?
No, yeah, great stuff. But first off, we heard a version I've loved for Lord knows how many years. I think we both have, and indeed the old Maestro Jim used to like that one as well. George Shearing from the Shearing Touch with his classic quintet and their version of Little Niles. Really good stuff. And then slightly more modern, although still over 20 years ago, would you believe, 1998, Bill Stewart, the drummer for a long time with, well, you name it really, Pat Metheny, John Schofield, whoever, played with them all one way or another, with his band then, an album called Think Before You Think, featuring Joe Lovano, Mark Cohen and Dave Holland. And we might do another one of those now that we took it out again, might resurrect that again in the not too distant future.
Now, lovely stuff. Now, next from me, a pianist whose trio recordings I've always enjoyed, and he's enthralled me with the almost telepathic communication between him and his bandmates. It's Pablo Held. Born in 1986, Pablo says, Herbie Hancock's music was always in the background while I was playing Lego. John Scofield's music in the car on holidays. Music was always there and around me. His parents were both involved. His dad, a professional pianist, his mum, a piano technician. He studied jazz piano at Cologne with two of his biggest heroes, John Taylor and Herbert Nuss, and has held a regular series of his concerts at the Loft Jazz Club in Cologne. There's one on the list we haven't been to, since 2017. And his latest digital-only release is 3¼ hours of fantastically varied and interesting music from those sessions, with fresh music in each instance with people he hadn't played with before, and a guest list as long as your arm. Here he is with Jeff Ballard, Julian Arguelles, Vinerai Poyola, and Jasper Hoiby with Somebody I Used to Be. Somebody I Used to Be from Pablo Hell's latest release, live, as you can hear, Meet Me at the Loft. Other guests include Gary Husband, Norma Winston, Ben Monder, Kit Downs, and many, many more. And I can't think of a better way to spend 3 hours or so bopping, swinging, rocking, and reflecting in the company of this fantastic array of musicians.
Sounds good to me. Here's a little bit of Chick Webb, courtesy of Aldo Romano. From the album Just Jazz, Aldo Romano, Henri Texier double bass, Geraldine Laurent saxophone, and Malo Negri on clarinet.
Just jazz indeed, and that's what you've been listening to, the very best of jazz on Jumping In with myself, LH, and that's about it for this week's show. Next week, we've got another one of our specials where we interview Trish Clues as she tours with her latest My Iris release, View with a Room, and it's really hard to get that right. But before that, we've just got time, as the spring makes us think, as H said before, of a trip to Brussels for Brew Jazz Wee. Maybe we can fit in a track from Flemish sextet John Ghost, led by musical architect Jo de Geest, whose name roughly translates as John Ghost. Here's the title track from their 2019 release, Airships Are Organisms.
Oh, spooky.
Bye now.